Hi everyone and welcome to Club Live here at Club at 22, the Rangers podcast. I am back after 2 weeks away. I was taken by an illness, but I'm back and ready to go tonight. Looking forward to the Manscaped promo halfway through as well. So I'll be in. I heard Scotia read it last Friday and he was very good at it once again. So I've got a lot to live up to. But it's it is back to the before I introduce my guests. We are live YouTube tonight. If you could like and share, most appreciated. Get your comments in as well. If we get time at the end, we'll do our best to answer maybe some questions at the end. I know we've got a wee bit to get through, but if we have time, we will answer your questions near the end as well. So it is back to the three amigos as described last time I was on. So first of all, Scott Carney, how are you today?
Yes, I'm all good, mate. Roasting like everybody else, and it's gone awfully dark at my bit. So if there is rumbles of thunder, literally as I just said that, there was thunder. So if you hear thunder, I'm sorry, but I am not closing my window because it is far too warm in here. But yes, good to be back, mate. Good to see you back, mate. I'm glad you're fit and healthy. And just on a side note, thinking about you, Ryan, mate. We'll see you soon, mate.
Yeah, no, 100%, Ryan. Ryan will be back in the podcast soon, so don't worry, he will be back. And last but not least, there's one man excited for this weekend. It is Scott Gemmell. His beloved Scotland are back. They are back this Saturday. It's Norway, Scotia, is it, or something? 5:30 or something kickoff. So
it's Norway.
I think I'm maybe going to watch it with you for a couple of pints. So I can't wait.
Oh, I can turn you yet, Ali. I can turn you yet. Evening, Ali. Evening, Scott. Evening, listeners. Like Carney says, it's been absolutely sweltering in the west coast of Scotland this week. Glad for that wee bit of rain we had down in Hellsville just a wee bit earlier, just to clear the air a wee bit because it's been very muggy recently. But looking forward to discussing all things Rangers.
Yeah, it's been absolutely scorching this week. I'll tell you what, we're not set up for it in Scotland. Carney, I mean, you do a similar job to me out and about in the car and seeing people and customers and that. And I mean, I go about in a shirt and trousers and that quite a lot. It's not set up for it at all. It's horrible. It's good when you've got a beach and a pool you can jump in, but we don't.
That's the thing. It's like you think about, like, actually when I go on holiday, like I like going to like Turkey because it's roasting and I love it. I like it's great, but you've got an air-conned room. Like my house is not air-conned. Like it is, and then you just buy a fan and all it does is blow hot air at you. It's not ideal at all. It's been very warm. This room is very warm. Thunder's pretty warm.
No, I know. I live in a flat just outside the city centre of Scotland, so I don't even have a garden I can go into to cool down. So it's not ideal. But anyway, we're not here to talk about the weather and other things like that. We're here to talk about Rangers. So first of all, before I get on to what we're going to talk about, lads, two guys that have left Rangers in the summer there. Ryan Kent has been away to Fenerbahce. It was rumoured that he was going, but it's confirmed he's away to Fenerbahce. But the one that I thought it's a good move for him. Scotia, I'll come to you, Mr. Saturday Night. Scott Arfield, God bless America. I thought he might go this neck of the woods, to be honest. He signed a 2-year deal with Charlotte FC in North Carolina. I know we had an American trip lined up, COVID ruined for Scotia. We were going to South Carolina. So if we do revisit this trip, North Carolina could be on with maybe a bit of Saturday night.
It could indeed. It's on Arfield. I think it's a really good move for him. Because it's Charlotte something.
Charlotte FC,
Charlotte Jaguars. Yeah. Charlotte FC. Yeah. Decent level still in the MLS, aren't they? Yeah. So decent level of football. I mean, the MLS is growing and growing. Like I was trying to find places to watch it, and they've done it this season, but it's you buy Apple Plus, and if you can see like every single game, we can do that over here if you so wish. So a decent move for him. Good place to go and live as well, North Carolina. Nice area of the world. And I think it's cracking in terms of lifestyle for him because he could have stayed in Scotland. I reckon. I think did hear that Hearts were in asking about him. Aberdeen.
He was rumoured going to Plymouth in the Championship as well. Was another one he was rumoured at.
Down there. No, but going over to America, I think that's a good thing. It kind of sets you up, a nice lifestyle for the family and things like that as well. So best of luck to Scott Arfield in that move.
Yeah, Carney. I just thought I'd mention with Scott Arfield. He's a good all-round good guy. I thought it was a good deal from him. And obviously, the Ryan Kent to Fenerbahce doesn't surprise me, like we said before. But it's interesting to see how his career goes too.
Yeah, Kenny Fenerbahce, I'm not really surprised. It'll be decent money for him there. Scott Arfield, I think the move's good as well. I quite like when I seen it. I was like, yeah, it's probably quite a good move. It's a nice, without being disrespectful to him, it's a nice wee retirement job for him.
Yeah.
To work towards the end of his playing career, plus the coaching system and all that out in America is really good. So you'll pick up a lot of stuff there. There'll be a lot of things that you can get involved in out there as well in regards to becoming a coach. And yeah, Scott Arfield's one of the players that he'll always be welcome back at Ibrox, and I would love to see him come back in some form of capacity later down the line, because he's just an all-round good egg. He really is. So no, best of luck to him. I think it's a decent move, and maybe I'll just join you on that wee trip to America. We can go see Mr. Saturday night.
Yeah, it would be a good Club at 22 holiday for us, that, and I'm sure the guys at Narsa, which is on as we speak in Toronto at the moment, he's a guy for them to get for their next one. I think it's New York next year. So he's over that neck of the woods, Scott.
Ali, do you mind, cause that trip that we were going to do, it was going to be in Toronto at the tail end, because we were flying back from Toronto, so we were considering staying about for that Narsa trip before it all get COVID put a spanner and everything.
Yeah. Justin's saying as well, you should go to Texas.
I'm coming to Texas, Justin. If Justin can put me up, me and Scotia will definitely be there. And we'll take Justin out for a couple of beverages. 100% Justin. I will be there. Name the date. Anyway, let's move on to another signing by Rangers. I think they've made a signing every week, Scotia, since we have stopped for the season. Obviously, Kieran Dowell's come in, Dujon Sterling, Jack Butland, and now the signing of Sam Lammers, confirmed the other night. Reported fee of £3 million from Atalanta, 4-year deal. 26, 6'3". He was speaking on Rangers TV. I'll just say a brief thing what he said. I'm really excited to join Rangers. My first impressions have all been good, so I'm even more excited for the season to start now. I came in contact with the manager and he came over to see me in Italy with a good talk, and he gave me a presentation about the club and how I could fit in. So ever since that moment, I was excited for this project to get here. Just a wee snippet for Michael Beale. Sam is a player I've been aware of for a number of years. I first knew of him as a young player at PSV and followed his career closely from afar after he excelled in Holland and under-20 national team. So Scotia, I heard you and Carney speak about him on your last podcast. 26, good age, 6'3". The thing Rangers fans look at instantly is, which you boys talked about, is the stats. He has scored 6 goals in 3 years. He's been pumped out on loan a couple of times. Our pals Frankfurt, he's been Empoli, Sampdoria recently. Doesn't he score many goals, Scotia? But looking between the lines and listening to him, I don't think he's going to be an out-and-out striker for Rangers. I think he could be a Tillman replacement. He can play across the forward line. I think he will score goals for Rangers. He's played for kind of teams down in the bottom end of these tables. He looks a creative player. He's not a battering ram at 6'3", but I'm not going to write him off. I know a lot of people have written him off already because of his stats, but I trust Beale. What's your thoughts on this one now it's over the line?
Yeah, as you say, me and Carney discussed them last week, but it was very briefly because I think the news had only broke about the concrete interest about an hour or two before we recorded, so I hadn't done any research other than quickly just looking at stuff on Twitter and quickly pulling up his Wikipedia page. And yeah, the goal stats, they do concern you slightly, but to me that's slightly offset by the fact that it's getting clearer and clearer to me that Beale's going to be playing with probably a front two, and not a front two of Matondo and Sakala, a front two that are of better quality than that, if you don't mind me saying.
I definitely don't mind you saying that, Scotia.
The best young Welshman in the Manfred's Scotia.
No, I don't know. So taking that into account, that's not a huge concern. Plus, as well, consider where he's been playing recently. I think he had a really good season, because I looked at it maybe a bit for a really good season when out on loan to Heerenveen from PSV in the Eredivisie. I think he got a good number of goals there, which that kind of earned his move to Atalanta in the Serie A in Italy. And he got off to a decent enough start, but then he kind of stopped playing around about December words. And that was in a team that you had Muriel and Zapata keeping him out the team along with Ilicic. And then both Muriel and Zapata were keeping Alfredo Morelos out the Colombia team an awful lot of time, relegating him at the bench sort of thing. So take that into consideration. Atalanta finished third that season. Yes, he's not been great on his loan spells to Empoli, Sampdoria and Frankfurt, but Beale does tend to like someone that he's seen a wee bit in before that he can revitalise. Cantwell is the obvious one that springs to mind. So I'm not too concerned with the goal stats, to be honest. I'll wait and see how he does, because if you think back to last season, when the transfer window time was coming, we're all up and excited about Čolak coming. But if you take a poll of the majority of Rangers fans, I think the majority will probably say, no, not for me. So just give him time when he's playing in our shirt.
Yeah, Carney, I mean, £3 million to us is a decent amount of money. We've spent a lot more on players, but in the grand scheme of it, in the world of football, it's pennies. It really is pennies. We are not going to go to these top leagues in Europe and cherry pick a guy scoring 25, 30 goals a season. We can't do it. We need to go for guys similar, as Scotia mentioned, the Cantwell route, a guy that's maybe lost his way. There's something there to work with, and maybe we can bring it back in him. So I know a lot of people are judging these goal stats, but I'm along the same lines as Scotia and what I said. I trust Michael Beale. We've seen it with Cantwell, what he's got out of what he's got out of Cantwell, and I still think there's more strikers to come, but I'll judge him when I see him in a Rangers jersey, not now on just a bit of paper.
Do you mean you'll judge him 20 minutes into a game after he misses
10 minutes?
Yeah, and then you're like, I'll do the usual Rangers fan thing. No, look, obviously I've got a bit egg on my face in terms of I wasn't very impressed, and I was one that did look at his stats last week when we were talking about it, and I was like, oh my goodness, it doesn't look very good. And now I've got to go, I'm really excited about it, but that's the nature of football. That's what happens. The fact that it's 3.5 million, whatever report you choose to believe in, he's coming here to play. And Beale's made it, he's not going to be here just to work his way into the team, if that makes sense. Obviously, we have to earn his right to play as much as everybody else, but he's obviously part of the plans, and he obviously suits what Beale's going to do. I agree with Scotia on what he's saying. I think it's going to be some form of front two. It looks like that's the way it's going to be anyway under Beale, which again is something new, something fresh. We've seen 4-3-3 now for I don't know how long, for as long as I can remember. It's really we've been watching that for as long as I can remember. So it's now time to see something different. Look. So far I need to trust in what Beale's doing, because so far he hasn't let me down with what I've seen. Obviously we've still got two players that we've not seen kick a ball for us yet, but in regards to the first two that he signed, then I'm impressed with both of them. And then even Raskin doing well for his national team the other night, I was like, here we go, he's going to be kicking into form now as well, hopefully all at the right time. And you have to just trust the process. Beale does love a project player. He loves someone, as Scotia says, he loves someone that he's seen something in, and he would love to get the best out of him. There was a lot of hype around this lad a while ago. It was €9 million or something he was bought for.
Yeah, something for that.
Yeah, something like that. So that's not to be sniffed at. Do you know what I mean? That's a serious bit of dollar. So I'm hoping that all comes to fruition. But again, I can't really disagree with anything you just said. Ali, you are spot on. We can't go into a top league in Europe and go, you scored 25 goals? Okay, come on, play in Scotland. Because it just doesn't work like that anymore. It might have been different back in the day when we were growing up, when the EBTs were flying around, but it's not really the same thing anymore. It's a completely different game. And so I'm going to back him. I'm going to back him to the Hills, because he's now a Rangers player, and that's all you can do. We can't really judge anything of him until we see him in competitive football. And you'll note that I said competitive football, because when I seen Matondo in uncompetitive football, I was rather impressed and kind of sang his praises, and I'm not going to get caught doing that again. So no, I'm looking forward to seeing what he's going to bring. But I do think he's the first of possibly another two to come in, I would imagine, in that kind of front area. I would expect more of that to come. So yeah, I'll back him again. I'll go back on what I said to say. Obviously, I did look at the stats. I get that, and somebody will be snipping this as we speak and saying this guy contradicts himself. I do get that, but he's now a Rangers player, so what else am I meant to do? Of course, I'm going to back him. But yeah, 3.5 million, mate. Beale must see something in him that he really, really likes. So yeah, I'm excited to see what he can get out of him.
Yeah, and thank you very much to David Lyon there with the donation. Much appreciated.
Thank you, David.
It's another new face in the door. It's first of many, to be honest. I still think we've got another 4 to go, probably, potentially, and then we'll see who goes in and out. We'll come on to who we're talking about in and outs, but other ins that look further down the road. Carney will stay with you. You mentioned strikers there. Kamara Roof's back on Instagram again. He looks fit and ready to go for next season. But a guy we've been linked with is the boy Dressers from Cremonese. Rumoured round about £4 million, 28 years of age. He comes 29 December. I looked at 6'1". I've looked at a few guys 6'1" so far in terms of bringing in Belgian. I've looked at his record, Carney. In the Dutch league with Breda, he's 36. This is a way back when he first started, but 36 appearances, 22 goals. Utrecht, 40 appearances, 12 goals. Hercules, 26 appearances, 15 goals. Genk, 38 appearances, 10 goals. Bayern on loan, 27 appearances, 9 goals. And his current club, Cremonese, 26 appearances, 6 goals. He looks a bit of more of a Alfredo Morelos type player, if you want to say, kind of powerful type player. This one looks like it probably will go over the line, Carney. What's your thoughts on this one if it goes ahead?
Yeah, if it goes ahead, this one's kind of went back and forth, I think, hasn't it? It looked like it was getting close. Now it looks like it's a wee bit further away, I suppose, all about agreeing terms. He's got again, but I'm going to go back to talking about his stats, and I've just said that I'm not going to judge Lammers on his stats, but no, he does have decent stats. And I don't know if it's going to be big man, little man, up front kind of thing, like Mike Bassett. England are playing 4-4-2, but I'm looking forward to seeing what else we recruit in that area. He looks decent. He does look like a good player. I'm not going to get too excited about it because there is a lot of rumours flying about that it's not going to happen. There's a lot of rumours saying that it is going to happen, so it's a one that you need to just wait and see. But in terms of being linked with a player like that, with the reputation that he kind of has, yeah, of course that excites me, mate. I think what Beale's doing overall, in terms of who he's already recruited into the team, in terms like having Cantwell, having Raskin, Butland especially, people will be taking note of that. People will be thinking there must be something happening there. I'm not saying that they are world stars or anything like that, but they're still a decent calibre that a lot of people know about, and they have a reputation. It's not people that we've completely never heard of, if that makes sense. And especially Cantwell, when I was speaking to people as well, even at work, and they were saying Cantwell at Norwich, I didn't rate him, and I kind of laughed when he was coming to Rangers, and since he's came in, he's been a bit of a revelation for us, and that's all I'm hoping for, that Bill gets. He gets players that want to come here and play, and I mean, Bill was in Italy enough to go and see him. I'd imagine there's a lot of conversation happened between the both of them. And the face-to-face contact that Bill likes to have with them. So he's obviously seen something that he's seen. Obviously, the Dessers one's going to be, I'm not sure. Reports going that it's probably 50-50 now. But that's the kind of player that we want to be looking at, mate. That's the kind of player that we want to be looking at. Because he's still, what is he, 26, 25?
28.
Is he 28?
He's 28, it's 29 December.
Is he? Right, well, maybe that's not the same. Maybe Lammers is more the pillars, if you like. Yeah, maybe that's what I mean. You get a couple of years out of him and sell him for a profit. Could still do the same with Dressels, don't get me wrong, but but that age, maybe he's coming here as a kind of final swan song. But no, as I say, it's exciting, mate. It's exciting to be linked with these kind of players. This all on paper looks great, and right now you've just got to trust what Beale's doing. I'm excited the fact that it's the 16th of June. And we're making signings. I mean, that's almost unheard of as a Rangers fan. So I'm more of it, and I think there's plenty more to come.
Yeah, I mean, Bill said we're ahead of schedule from where he thought we'd be in terms of players in. He wants these players in, most of them, before pre-season. So when we kick off our pre-season, he's got the majority of the squad. And obviously, I think depending on where we get in Champions League, if we get to Champions League, there may be another player that come in later in the window potentially, but we'll need to see what happens with that in terms of finances. It's got a few other players to go through. I know we're kind of with time, etc. So it's Scotia, obviously, because you're a defender at heart. We've been linked with a boy, Jonathan Panzo from Nottingham Forest. Again, reportedly around about 2.5 million. He was in loan at Coventry last season. Played 32 games for them. Left centre-back, 22 years of age, 6'1", came through the Chelsea youth system. So Michael Beale would have known him there. And then he went to Monaco from there. A lot of people have looked at him because he made a big mistake in the playoff final. But then again, he's human. Everyone can make a mistake. But what's your thoughts on him? This is a position, Scotia, that I think we'll be looking to get something in, even if it isn't him. And you're on mute, by the way.
Well done, Scotia. Fantastic, mate. That's
someone asked you doing all this since I've been away for 2 weeks, not you.
Mate.
Sorry. Apologies, everybody. No, yes, I think Panzo looks decent on the face of it. As I've been saying, like all season, I've not really watched much of the Championship, but I did watch that playoff final. I think he only came on for like 5 minutes and made that mistake as well, didn't he? He wasn't on the pitch very long, so you can maybe put that down to that he's not been on the pitch very long. You're more likely to make an error like that. The kind of things that appeal to me in that is that he's young, like you say, 22 years old. He's also, again, we've said it often enough, but similar to Dujon Sterling, versatile, that he can play in that left centre-back role. He's also played at left-back a few times as well, which I don't know if you'll come on to it, but we could be fairly short in the left-back position, depending on what happens in transfers going out this summer. And what I like as well is the fact that he's a young English player that's went abroad to France, has went abroad to Belgium to play and develop his games with like Monaco, Dijon, and was it Cercle Bruges he played with as well. That I quite like that. I like seeing Scottish players do that they go out and get experience abroad because it gives you a different style of coaching, different style of play and things, which can only be a good thing going forward, particularly when you want that player then to contribute for you in games in the Champions League or in the Europa League, where that's the kind of football that gets played. So I think that would be quite a good signing, Panzo.
Yeah, I just we'll be going for somebody in that position, whether it's Panzo or not. But I just, again, it's that connection to the Chelsea youth team, similar to Dujon Sterling. Beale's got his connections there. He likes a youth player, like Carney says, a guy he can kind of work with and try and develop. So, be interested with that one. And the final guy that Carney will come on to you, and I'll come on to you, Scotia, as well. Jose Cifuentes, I think that's how you say it, from Los Angeles FC. This is another one that looks, again, very close. Contract up in December. Potentially looks like we could get him for anything over £1 million to get him in the door now. 24 years of age. He's under 6 foot, this guy. He's 5'9", I've seen. Looks, for all reports, a decent player. He's been on the social medias doing the usual nonsense, liking every Rangers tweet there is and everything, and said his goodbyes to Los Angeles. Carney, this one looks close, to be honest.
Yeah, this one does look close, mate. This is one that I expect to be announced. I would think he would be the one that would be announced next week. I think there's just a few.
Is he in international football at the moment? Scotia.
Yeah, he's away with Ecuador. He's away with Ecuador, yeah.
Yeah, so when's that finish? Next week? The end of next week?
Yeah. Midweek.
So
probably a Thursday, yeah.
Yeah, you'd be looking towards probably the end of next week, maybe the start of the following week for that. But I think that's one that's close. And even going by what Beale's been saying, that he's happy with the way the recruitment going, they're ahead of schedule, stuff like that. All the kind of read between the lines thing that you like to do as a fan. I think this one's particularly close. I expect this one to happen. Yeah, and another exciting player. It's all about Beale getting the players that have the hunger. We've went stale. We've said it for too long that we don't have the fight. We don't have people that are willing to run through brick walls, and that's all down to how long players have been at the club as well. There's not been enough freshness within the team, and that's what takes that away. I believe we've got winners in our team. I believe that there's a lot of scar tissue that would lead people to believe that it's serial losers, but I don't think they're not going out of their way to lose games. They might be, but we all got the fear that they were getting too used to losing games. But I think that's slowly on the turn. And I think what Beale's doing is it's the biggest recruitment job we've seen at Ibrox since Warburton, maybe.
Yeah, I would say so, in a completely different scenario, but yeah.
Yes, of course. Yeah, obviously, of course. But it's one of the biggest ins and outs I think we'll see. And I do believe players are going to leave. I know you're going to come on to it, but I do believe players are going to leave. But this one, Cifuentes, is that how you say it? Cifuentes?
Cifuentes.
Cifuentes.
I would go with the silent C at the start. That's just me though.
I suppose you're well travelled, Scotia, so I'll just believe that. Yes, but anyway, I think it's one that fits the mould again, mate. The mould that we're trying to run on, and it's good to see it as well. We've heard so much about the pillars of the business that the club's going to be run on, and all the pillars of success, whatever they want to call it. But this is the kind of player as well that you want to be linked with, because there is potential there, potential for him to hit different levels here, and then we sell him on a decent profit. And I like that Bill's going out and getting the players that he wants. So far, from what we've been told by him as well, is that it is the players that he wants. It's been his first choices that he's getting, and that to me is that breeds confidence into me, because I trust in what Bill's trying to do. So if it is all the first choices, then fantastic. That's what you want. If Bill's getting the players that he wants, and you're not working your way down to third, fourth, fifth on the list, because there'll be a list of 20 players in that position that they'll be looking at, and they'll have done their homework on. But no, one that I expect to happen next week, mate, and one I say that I'm excited about again, because I think there's definitely potential there. There's definitely potential with the lad.
Yeah, Scotia, he's highly thought of in the MLS league. What's your thoughts on him, and where do you think he would slot in the Rangers team? Do you think he's kind of Ryan Jack's position? Do you think that's where he would slot
in? It's an interesting question. What would you do? I reckon he probably would be one of the. I think he'd be one of the starters along with Jack or Lundstrom at the moment, and then Raskin playing a bit deeper, Cantwell a bit higher. Probably. That's where I would put it. So you're potentially even then looking for another central midfielder to come in over Jack and Lundstrom starting there, possibly. But no, I like the look of this. We spoke about him again last week. We spoke about him the week before, and I think even the week before that as well. So he's been on our radar for a while, and my opinion's not really changed. I thought he would be signed this week, completely forgetting that he might be away on international duty himself. So if it weren't for that, I would imagine he would have been signed this week. But hopefully it happens at some point towards the end of next week or early the following, because it's really encouraging that we're getting all this business done very early on in the transfer window. I mean, how many times does it feel like we've been stung where we wait for a player? I mean, remember Davis gets signed after we get put out the Champions League qualifiers. Jelavic gets signed after he was cup tied and for European football. There's been so many wee things like that over the years that it's good to see everything getting done nice and early, so that Beale can have like a first day pre-season with the majority of the squad in place.
Yeah, no, I agree. As soon as we come back, we need to hit the ground running, especially pre-season. I mean, last pre-season, I thought we looked disjointed pre-season. There under Gio, you looked at that Sunderland game that get called out. I don't think we were great. I don't think we were great all through that pre-season. We need to hit the ground running, especially in the league, and then we go into the qualifiers for the Champions League. So no, it's good news that these guys are coming in the door. So before we continue, it is my favourite part of the podcast. It is the Manscaped promo. So time for a word from our sponsors. It's time to mind your manholes with Manscaped. Everyone is aware by now that nose hairs are a major turn-off. That's why Manscaped have released the brand new Weed Whacker 2.0 with improved blades and motor. You can feel the power in the palm of your hands. Save money and attack your nose and ear hairs by going to manscaped.com and using the code CLUB@22 to get 20% off and free shipping. Our friends over at Manscaped are helping you enjoy spring's fresh air by using the Weed Whacker 2.0 in all your face hole hair. Also, the Weed Whacker 2.0 will be in all Manscaped tool sets, including the Platinum Package 4.0 and Performance Package 4.0. So no matter what kit you pick, you will receive the new Weed Whacker 2.0 nose and ear trimmer. Let Manscaped be part of your daily grooming routine, ensuring no hair is ever out of place. It's time to level up your grooming game. Save 20% off and free shipping with the code CLUB@22 at manscaped.com. That's 20% off and free shipping with the code CLUB@22 at manscaped.com. From below to up top, get the best in grooming at Manscaped. Your nose, ears, body, and especially your balls will thank you.
Well done, Alistair. That was a bit more G in that one. I like that.
Yeah.
Upbeat, mate. That was good.
It was very upbeat. I was hoping my voice, because when I was ill last week, my voice was KO'ing after about a minute speaking properly. So it's held up well. So
well done, mate. Congratulations. Were you cleaning your throat with Manscaped products, mate? Is that why?
Yes. Spraying it down the back of my throat and everything. Yeah. No. No, I will continue more enthusiasm with the Manscaped promo going forward. So I can't have Scotty being the main guy doing it.
Curry said, "Boo, not one line added from Scott." I can't. He knows it's coming. Curry,
I know. Curry, I print this off at work and read it before I read it. Previously, I was like Ron Burgundy. He just reads what's on the TV thing. So no, I
will get him at one point. Trust me, I will.
He will get me at one point. But anyway, let's move on. So we've talked about players in. Let's talk about players out. The first one, Scotia, I'm going to come to you because I laughed at you and I'm trying to think what price you put on his head. Glen Kamara. We've come out, Rangers, we've basically transfer listed him. We have put a £5 million price on his head. Kamara was interviewed this week, said he basically wasn't surprised by Beale's comments. Asked about whether he's going to go, he kind of said no comment, but basically reading between the lines, he is going, Glen Kamara. I don't know what you said, Scotia. I think it was more than 5 million. You said, I think we'd be doing well to get 3 million. I still think at the moment 5 million is generous for a player that everyone knows we are trying to punt at the moment. He's not really kicked his own arse last season. If we get 5 million for Glen Kamara, that's some bit of business for us. But yes, we'll start on Glen Kamara, Scotia. You can tell us what you valued him at, but £5 million, do you think we will get that? It's a no for me.
I said, it must have been about 2 or 3 weeks ago now. £5 to £6 million, I said, would be my starting price for him. And
I did say you should get a job in at Rangers touting the players, so maybe you're actually in there now, Scotia.
Maybe they've listened to me. I thought 5 million, just based on the length of time of his contract. He always kind of plays for Finland, so we actually popped up on the telly just about 10 minutes ago. He wasn't starting for Finland tonight. They came on with about 10 minutes to play, so obviously I was interested to see whether or not he would be a starter for Finland.
Usually starts for them as well.
Yeah, clearly the lack of game time at Rangers has played into the Finnish manager's thoughts there potentially. So I don't think 5 million is unreasonable to ask for a player like Kamara. What would we be? We would be like with a player with 3 years left in their contract. What would we be trying to go in for? I know you obviously want to go in lowball the team that are the price that a team's asked for, but I think £5 million is a good starting point. It might not be as much as that, but Glen Kamara is one of these players that's got all the kind of the CV in terms of like trained at Arsenal Youth Academy. Look at what he done in Rangers in Europe, etc. That way, he had a great season for Rangers in 55 and whatnot. Wasn't great last season, but I think he chucked it after he wasn't sold last season. And that kind of shone through in the majority of his performances. I think he had 2 really good performances against, around about the time we beat Hearts and Hibs over in Edinburgh. He had a really good game at Ibrox as well, if I remember correctly. But apart from that, he's been anonymous this season. He wants to go. The way Beale's speaking, Beale was very nice about it, but it was kind of bigging him up to get clubs interested in him. So yeah, it wouldn't be surprised me to see Kamara leave this transfer window.
Yeah, Carney, you in the same boat as me, and 5 million I think is very, very generous for us. I get what we're doing. We'll aim for 5 and see what we get, but 3 million for me is probably the best we're probably going to get out of it.
The only reason I think that it was released is there must be a couple of teams inquiring about him, so Rangers are doing their best to try and flood out the best bid. That's what I would imagine anyway, whether it came from the agent or whoever, I don't know, but it's trying to flood out bids into it, I suppose. We see teams doing it for us. We see media doing it for us. So yeah, I would 3 mil. If we got 3 million back, somebody just said in the comments, I just missed it there. We get the money back that we just paid for Lammers, and then that cancels itself out. That seems fair enough to me. That would be quite a good bit of business as far as I'm concerned. Glen Kamara is known for a while that his future wasn't at Rangers. You can tell by his performance levels this season. He's been pretty poor all season. He wasn't great. especially towards the end of the season as well, when he was getting an opportunity to play, he wasn't good, and it's a real shame for Kamara because there was mass potential there. Under Gerrard, some of the football he was playing was absolutely fantastic. I really did like Glen Kamara, but I've quickly came to not really have the time for him because he just doesn't really look particularly interested. But as I say, I think that's all because if you know you're in a job that you're leaving, then you're not really going to be giving it your all, are you? And I think he knows. But it'll be interesting to see where he does go because, as you've just mentioned, his international football's been affected by his lack of game time here. So he's going to need to go somewhere and play football. He's going to need to be a starter somewhere. So obviously, I remember when we were talking about Glen Kamara and his palm, we were saying some English Premiership team will buy him, and he was linked with Arsenal and stuff like that as well. Remember, like people talking about making a return to Arsenal because he was in their youth system, obviously. So it's a shame the way it's going to end for Kamara, but I do not expect to see him in a Rangers top now. Again, I expect him to be one of the first ones that moves on. And if we get $5 million for him, absolute bonus. I know you obviously have to look at the potential, you have to look at the amount of contract that he has. I do get that, but we can't really also take the risk of having him here if we don't get the correct bid and he doesn't agree to join a team. So I would say anywhere between 3 and 5 is where Rangers are aiming for, and they've just went out at the top bracket, or somebody's went out at the top bracket and said that we'll accept 5 for Kamara. As I say, I just put it down to teams being interested, mate. But when I seen 5, I chuckled a little bit. I did chuckle a little bit because his form definitely doesn't represent that. And I know it's crazy because you think about the signings that players are getting made. You're like 35 million for a guy you've never heard of and stuff like that in England, but you've got to remember we're not in England and that we never will be, so you have to almost exclude what happens in that league and take everything as face value here. And yeah, if we got 3, if we cover the Lammers fee, and I'm happy enough for that.
Yeah, he's the first of a few that are going to be going out the door. Kamara, I did see on Instagram he was on holiday before he went to Finland with his old pals Bassey and Joe Aribo. They were all on holiday together. I could see him. I could see him going to like Southampton. To be honest, Southampton are going to be getting rid of players in the Championship. Is Joe Aribo going to get a chance at Southampton this season coming? He could team the two of them up down there. I could see him going somewhere there. But other players, I think, out the door. McLaughlin's a shoe in to go out the door for me. Scott Wright's been linked to going out the door. 2 players. Scotia, I'll come to you with one of them. Borna Barisic has been linked with possibly a 1-year contract extension. What's your thoughts on Barisic? Would you, I was going to say cash in on him, I don't know how much he'd be worth now, or would you give Borna a year's deal?
I'd probably.
Thank God Ryan's not on, because if I'd asked him that question,
I know it. Yeah, no. Given that his wife not just given birth to a baby, just given that he's had a kid, I reckon it's probably time. Borna's kind of reached the end of his time here. My only slight concern is that how well covered are we in that left back area then if Borna does leave, because then we're kind of banking on Panzo coming in for extra cover along with Devine, who isn't naturally a left back. That's my only concern. So I can see where the temptation to offer him a 1-year extension is, but I'd see if we could get some money back for Borna. I mean, I know he didn't start against the Netherlands the other night there. He was on the bench, but still a Croatian international. So we could get a decent bit of money back in for him. 1 million, 2 million plus, around about that kind of bracket, which would be ideal, I think, because we didn't spend overly much on bringing him in. So got good service at him. Yeah. So I can understand why we would keep him on for an extra year, just because of that lack of cover right now. But for me, I'd probably move him on and then give Yilmaz his chance to be the starting left back next season. Yeah,
we've spent reportedly close to 5 million, whatever it is, on Yilmaz. Yilmaz for me has to start next season. He's got to start. He showed promising signs at the tail end of last season, but for me, he's our left back going forward. Carney, you were talking earlier about obviously the strikers. We're bringing in these strikers. There's one obviously we've got. If you look at who we've brought in Lammers, what's that there?
Keep them off.
Keep them off. Sees that, by the way.
I know we're all dead.
David Todd will be hunting you down, by the way, as we speak. No, Carney strikers. We're on about strikers. Obviously, Lammers is in if you want to class him up at the top line. Dressers possibly coming in. Your man Sakala's still there if you want to see he's the front line. Kamara Roof, who we joke about, who is apparently coming back. Antonio Cholak, I know we've discussed him a couple of times in this podcast. What we do you think Rangers are looking to move him on now and potentially replace and bring another? If we could move Cholak on, it might make room to bring even another forward line player in. What's your thoughts on Cholak at the moment?
Yeah, I don't think
he's just getting married as well.
Yeah, I don't think he'll be. I don't think he'll be anywhere near the first choice going into next season, and I think it would probably be right for both for him to move on. Nothing against the guy, and really nothing against the guy, but I think the way Bill's talking, I think he sounds like one of the ones that's probably heading for the exit door as well. And look, we joke about Kamara Roof all the time as well, and we joke about him staying fit. If Kamara Roof stays fit, then we've got a hell of a player on our hands. We do. He's a great player. He is, and he scores goals. He really does. So I think his movement's great. I think his finishing ability is fantastic. He's got a great strike on him. Everything about Kamara Roof I really, really like. Apart from he's made of chocolate, and you've got to think, has this injury all of a sudden cured everything that's actually wrong with him? And it's a massive risk for. I see it as a risk anyway for Beale to put all these eggs in the Kamara Roof basket and hope that he's going to be the one to lead us going forward. I think Beale would love to. I think most Rangers fans would love to believe that would be the case if we could keep Kamara Roof fit. But realistically, and over a track record from what we've seen, I don't think he will be fit for the full season. Hopefully, he's a lot fitter than what he is this season. What did he play like? I can't even remember what it was, like 3 games or something. Was it something like that this season?
Scored in every game, I think, though.
yeah, he does. He scores goals. That's what I mean. That somebody will say that in the comments about how many he scored, how many minutes he played, how many games he played. But yeah, Cholak for me, I fell into your camp, mate. Of he doesn't strike fear into me. He doesn't. I don't think defenders are particularly worried about playing against him, and I think for both, I think he should move on. Honestly, as well, I know I said it all the time. We joke about Sakala. Sakala will be a Rangers player next season. I think he's probably he's earned the right to have at least another season here based on his goal involvement throughout the season, his assists and his goals. He's the most frustrating player I can remember, really, but he will score goals. Yeah, that's the thing, he will score goals, so I believe he'll be here. So one now, mate, that if we were to move beyond it, would have to be Cholak, because I think we asked this question before. I would keep Kamara Roof over Cholak.
Yeah, Scotia, I think you're more leaning towards Kamara Roof, Cholak than me and Carney maybe are at the moment. What would you do with Cholak now that obviously we've brought the new guy in, and obviously Dressers is the next guy we're looking at? If not him, we'll be looking at another striker, and obviously Kamara Roof's apparently back this pre-season. So what's your thoughts on Cholak?
Right, before I go on to Cholak, can we put a pin in the fact that he's Dessers and not Dressers right now?
Dessers,
before it becomes a thing. Before it becomes a thing.
Dressers.
No worries. Just what I wanted to do that. Didn't want you to have any bloopers next season, Ali. I'm looking out for you, and that's what I'm doing.
He's not signed yet, so it's all right.
Cholak's an interesting one. He's been kind of coming out and he's been speaking. I know he obviously changed the agent not too long ago. And obviously people think that moving into wanting away from the club and stuff, but he's been saying kind of the things about wanting to come in and play. Someone asked the question about who would you rather keep, Cholak or Roof, and I think
it was me. I think it was me that done that. I think so. Yeah. Kind of rings a bell.
I went.
My memory's terrible.
Yeah, I went for Cholak just on the basis that Roof's past history. If you could guarantee me that Roof was going to be injury-free next season, then without a shadow of a doubt, it would be Roof.
He's guaranteed us that Scotia on Instagram. He says he's going to not be injured next season. You want to see that?
Know what? Part of me thinks Roof might be the surprise package of next year.
They might.
And have an absolutely
here we go. That's a bold prediction, Scotia, right there. That's what that is.
Just saying. No, but I do like Cholak. But for me, the problem with Cholak, from what I've seen of him this season, is he needs to be starting games. He's never come into a game and impacted the game off the bench, and that's a bit of a worry, because if you're bringing in Dessers, obviously we've got Lammers now, he wouldn't be first in front of the two new guys that you brought in, and he's not shown anything for me last season in terms of stuff coming in off the bench. Obviously, the injury probably hampered some of that, but yeah, it's an interesting one. Like, I don't really know where I am. Ask me in a month or two once the transfer window's further down the line, once more rumours are in and things, because at the moment I think we could still see like another big signing, like potentially a £5-6 million signing out of what we've already discussed this evening and what's come in so far.
Yeah, I think that might be dependent on where we're playing European football, or even if we get through the third qualifier, because that guarantees us £5 million, I think, even if we get put out in the playoff going into Europa League.
We're guaranteed Europa League anyway.
I know, but if we get through the third round, I think it guarantees us £5 million or something, so that bonus money. So, I think we will, but I think it'll be dependent on what happens in that stage. But, Carney, I'll come back to you. I'm going to come back to Scotia at one point. It's going to be the Rangers B team, because I know he's looked into this setup they were doing. But a couple of guys, Lowry and Devine, next season. Obviously, with what's happened with the B team, and I'll come on to it with Scotia next, but I can't see them getting a game next season. Even Lowry, I can't see him getting a game. Hadji's still kicking about, so I think it's loans for them next season.
Yes, I do. Yeah, I do. I think Devine's more chance of being a loan to buy with the team. I don't really think Bill sees a future for Devine at the club, based on who we're kind of going after, who we've been linked with in terms of who we're trying to recruit. Lowry, I think it's up to him now, very much. I think there's been all sorts of wild rumours about him. Obviously, I think he would struggle a wee bit mentally. He had a few family problems and stuff. There's been a few things he kind of nearly went off the rails. I don't know if any of that's true. As I say, I'm just speculating. But in terms of his position and where he would play amongst the kind of attacking line in front of the attacking midfield area, if you like, kind of forward of the midfield area, there's not any player that, if everybody's fully fit, I wouldn't be playing Lowry over any of them right now, I don't think. Hadji's the only one, maybe, but again, that's me being unfair to Hadji, because he's not fully fit. He needs this pre-season to get himself fit, and we'll see what Hadji's all about after that. But in terms of like what Cantwell, Lawrence, I mean, he's not playing over any of them for me. There's just absolutely no danger that I'm playing him ahead of them. So, yeah, I think Lowry's probably a loan, Devine maybe a loan to buy. It's a shame, mate. It is a shame. It's a real shame, but Lowry's really not kicked on in the times that we did see him. I know he hasn't had a sustained run in the team, and you don't really get a chance to kind of build momentum as such, but I think there's class there. I think he's a great player. I think he's got a good attitude when he's on the pitch. But in terms of, if we were coming off the back of 3 in a row, 4 in a row, something like that, then possibly I think he would maybe get an opportunity. But where we are and what we need to win next season, which is everything, and always will be everything, but you know what I mean. I don't see it. I would think he will be put out on loan.
Yeah, I think it's a shame, because I think he's a shining light for us, but I just think he's down the pecking order at the moment. Scotia, I said I would come to you. The Rangers B team. Rangers released a statement earlier this week. They won't be entering the Lowland League for the 23-24 season and beyond. This follows the Scottish FA's decision to withdraw a vote on the proposed induction of a Conference League at Tier 5 in the National Football Pyramid. I did put in the group chat today, Scotia, with your name in brackets in here, because I think you've discussed the B team in the Lowland League and what they were wanting to set up in that league. Obviously, Rangers have pulled out. What's your thoughts, and can you shine a wee bit of light on what was actually proposed before Rangers pulled out?
Yeah, I think we spoke about this back in February or March when the kind of announcements get made. There was kind of 3 proposals put forward. And this Conference League one was the third, if you like to say, and the one that I was least in favour of. The other 2 I was more preferential to, because what was getting proposed here was sticking a Conference League in, jamming it in between the second division and the Highland and Lowland leagues. So automatically kind of just doing that, and it would be made up of our as the months went on, it's kind of transpired it would be made up of 4 B teams, so Rangers, Celtic, Hearts, and an Aberdeen or a Hibs or someone like that. 4 teams from the Lowland League and 2 teams from the Highland League. There was no promotion for B teams, so I didn't see the point there. Like, you're just kicking the can down the road and what we're in already. And it was like a weird, complicated system for, like, because say, for instance, the 4 B teams finished in top 4, you then get your team that finished 5th playing a playoff to get promoted. I didn't like the idea. An awful lot of Scottish football, other clubs in Scottish football didn't like the idea, and that's the reason the vote got withdrawn. And then Rangers announced that they're pulling out the Lowland League altogether. I'm pretty shocked. I was shocked by that when it happened, and I don't know if I agree with what Rangers have done here. Unless they've got something in the pipeline that will come out in the coming weeks, I think it's, right now, on the face of it, I think it's a pretty bad move by Rangers, because I look at the likes of Lovelace, I look at the likes of Rice. I mean, you've talked about Lowry and Devine there, but I'm looking at the guys that are in there at that age that Rangers in the statement have said, 18 to 21, critical, we need to get them up playing. I just don't think it's the right idea, because the Conference League didn't solve the problem that we've currently got in the Lowland League about the promotion. That's the crux of the issue for me, is the promotion bit, because we've said it often enough that the level of competition isn't great and not good enough as they get older. They need to be going up the leagues to playing against better teams and things. So I was a wee bit surprised with what Rangers have done. I can only assume that they've got something in the pipeline that will maybe make a bit more sense later on down the line.
Yeah, Carney, I think Celtic have made a couple of grumblings this week that I think they're going to look at their position, what they're going to do. It potentially looks like they might pull out as well now, but it looks like Rangers might go down the route of what they did a couple of years ago when they put not a roadshow on, but they went and played top European sides, your Man Uniteds and European sides. They're sort of youth teams. It looks like they might be going down that route again, because I think they maybe get more joy out of that. What's your thoughts on this pulling out the Lowland League?
I can't disagree with what Scotia said. When I seen it, I was like, "Whoa, that's a bit of a strange move to make at this stage." And at first, I thought it was more Rangers are throwing their toys at the pram, but I don't think it is when you look deeper into it. I think, again, Scotia's right without painting the wall again with what Scotia just said, but it wasn't the answer. What was proposed, and the problems with the Lowland League is you can't go anywhere. You can't move up at all. Rangers have to have something in plan here. There's no way that we've got the size of infrastructure that we do for our youth development that we're just going to kick about and play glorified friendlies really against other top European teams. There has to be more in it. I think, but again, I don't know how much interest there is in it from all the B teams that like within European football to create a league amongst themselves. And but again, then you take into complications of travel, whatever else, all that stuff costs money. I understand that, but there has to be something. I'm shocked that they just completely just put out. And I say now, I think Rangers have tried to do that, and obviously to try and set a precedent for other clubs to follow it. I think Celtic will pull out as well. I can't see Celtic keeping their team in that league now that Rangers have pulled out from it. No disrespect to the league, but you know the way things work in this country, so I would imagine they're along the same lines and they'll be involved in whatever's going to be proposed now from Rangers in terms of what they'll do with the youth. But yeah, I'm shocked by it, and we have to do something productive with it, because we have to. I'm harping on about bringing through talent, and yeah, we're talking about getting rid of Lowry and Devine, but not everyone's going to be a roaring success. That's the thing. It's not the way that it works. The idea of it always that you recruit players, you get them as ready as they can be, and maybe a percentage of them will make the step and play for the first team for Rangers, but the rest will be all filtered back through into the Scottish game itself, which again should hopefully improve the standard of the league. So Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what they choose to do, mate. It really is, because I say I don't think the just playing kickabouts with Man United and Man Cities and whatever else, I don't think that'll achieve very much. The lads have to start playing real competitive football, but I'm just the same as Scotia. I'm sorry for repeating everything he said, but there has to be something else coming that's in the pipeline, because I can't see them just having nothing ultimately.
Yeah, it would be interesting to see what's going forward. I just thought I'd bring it up. It sort of came out of nowhere with Rangers' that statement. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see moving forward. But I know we're sort of running 55 minutes already.
It's a good number. That's a good number.
Yes. But the last small topic of the night before we leave you all. Scotia bought Edmiston House supporters package away back in 1934, I think it was. He bought the package. He's been waiting for years and years to get the chance to go here and use his Edmiston House supporters package. The museum, Scotia, is opening on the 31st of July. To people like yourself who bought the package and built Edmiston House, 10 a.m, you'll know these dates anyway, Scotia. June the 19th, you can go on and buy your pre-sale tickets. General sale goes on the 29th of June at 10 a.m. You need to create an account on the website as well, so I would maybe do that before those dates. Carney, you'll be pleased to find out you get 1 point for a stadium tour per year and 1 Majors point for a museum tour. Scotia, it's finally here. July the 31st. Are you the man cutting the ribbon?
I will not be, no. I'll be one of those people that spent the 10 grand on the super duper package that they all had a wee night out.
Is that not 50 grand or something?
Ago. Oh, it was something ridiculous. Something I couldn't afford anyway.
I thought it was when you bought Scotia.
No, not at all. No, I was with the thousands and thousands of other people that done that other wee one. So no, I'm really looking forward to it. It's long overdue that we've got a museum to kind of properly display all the honours that we've won over the years, or every bit of history. Because even getting into like the trophy room at Ibrox, there's going to be tons of stuff that you won't have seen before. I know just over the last few years, hearing people on social media and stuff that have donated this, donated that to the museum and things like that. I think it's going to be cracking. It's going to be one of these museums where it's not going to be like, once you've been done, you've seen it all. It's going to be, I would imagine it's going to be one that'll like change the exhibits, as it were, every now and again, and it'll, something will be different the next time you go in. Really looking forward to it. So yeah, it's interesting. They're opening up on the 31st of July. That's a Monday. League season kicks off that next weekend. I assume we'll be away, so I assume it'll be open that weekend. But I'd imagine the demand's going to be pretty high, because I do think there was about, I don't know off the top of my head, but it was at least 2,000 or 3,000 people have bought that sports package, probably more if I'm being honest. So it'll be a rush to get tickets. Don't think I've heard anything further about when it's open till. I would imagine it'll be like 9 to 7 in the evening or something like that. Really looking forward to it. We needed it because I've been to like museums, Barcelona, Liverpool, AC Milan, done all those tours, and they're great. They're great doing it. Now that we can do this as well, showcase off our club to any would-be tourists. No, it's ideal, I think, and obviously more importantly to ourselves as well, because it's almost turning into like a kind of yearly pilgrimage, as it were.
Yeah, Carney, it's another great addition to down near the stadium now. It's a money maker. It's going to be open when we're not playing at Ibrox on weekends as well. You've got the Blue Sky Lounge as well. If you wanted to make a day of it, you go to the museum's tour. You can go up there for dinner. I know the old club shop is getting turned into a bar. Whether that will be open in those times, I don't know. I think that might just be a match day only. But it's exciting times moving forward. And like Scotia says, we've been waiting for this museum for years.
Absolutely years. It was a very long time ago. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it, mate. I'm not going to lie. I'm really interested to see what's in it. And again, Scotia's spot on. I feel like he's took the alley roll tonight, and everything that he's saying.
Apologies.
It's all right, mate. No, it's fine, because I think it will change. It'll change all the time, and they'll run different things with it, and there'll be a lot of. It's a good way to make money for the club. Our history is up there with the best of them, and there's a lot of stories to tell. Anybody that's done the founders trail as well will know just how good it is, and I'd imagine that they're going to try and incorporate the the museum into their tours, I would imagine they would, and the club will probably work closer with them for that. And by the way, just a quick one: if you haven't done the Founders Trail, do it because it's absolutely tremendous.
Yeah,
we should do that. We should actually do that again because it was absolutely brilliant.
Get a pint as well.
Yeah, you do get a pint. Halfway round, you get a pint and a pie. It's brilliant. No, it's
there
really
is Carney.
Really is excellent. Oh, Justin, thank you very much, mate. Ali, do you want to do it? Since you've been off.
God bless America. And I'll see you this summer, Justin.
Yeah,
get that airbed blown up.
Justin, you don't want him there, honestly, mate. You don't. No, thank you, Justin, mate. As always, mate, it's absolutely fantastic. Thank you so much. But yeah, no, the stadium, the museum, even very much looking forward to it, mate. I think it's exciting what's happening around Ibrox. I think it's long overdue. It's been looking tired too long for roundabout Ibrox, and it needs massively updated. And even interested to see what the bar holds as well. I think it's all good. And in fact, I've seen rumours as well on social media that Arfield, well, I presume he's not now because he's going to Canada, but he looked at trying to open a pub around Ibrox as well. But obviously, I doubt that'll be happening now. If he's maybe one for the retirement for him, maybe down a couple of years down the line.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to be running it though. I don't think he's going to be behind the bar.
No, sake, man. No, I know that, but I'd imagine he would like to be here to get the thing developed and everything else. If it's his money that's getting pumped into it, mate. But no, I know what you mean. If he doesn't call it Mr. Saturday Nights, then what is the point? What is the point, really? But no, I think the museum, I can't wait to see it, mate. Honestly, I can't wait to see it. I'll be tugging on Scotia's coat to try and get me, or sneaking in his pocket to try and get me take me in with him, because he's the one that went and bought the package. So no, really looking forward to it, mate. And it's been long overdue. It's exciting. It's something good to do. It's something for generations to come to do as well, and it'll be good to see. And there he is, Jim Sloan. Fantastic, Jim. Thank you very much, Jim, mate. Really appreciate it. Really do appreciate that. Magic.
They do text each other, don't they? Him and Justin.
Yeah, who's going first this week? Yeah.
Much appreciated, Jim. No, I'm excited for it, lads, as well. I also think it's a good thing for younger bears that maybe don't understand Rangers, that have maybe have been taken to Ibrox, but to take a child to the museum, and I think it's going to be interactive as well, so they can see basically what Rangers are all about, from all the trophies we've won, etc. I think that'll be good for young families as well going forward. So I look forward to it in the summer. But yes, we have ran over the others. I just thought we might struggle to get to the others, but we have ran over. So yes, I would like to thank everyone in the comments, all our kind donations tonight as well. Very much appreciated. We will be back next Friday, Carney, won't we? I don't know if we're doing anything midweek, are we?
There should be. So hopefully there'll be something midweek. Hopefully.
Yes, we will try our best. If not, we are definitely back next Friday. But before we leave, I would like to thank my guest tonight. First of all, Scott Carney. Thank you very much.
My pleasure, mate. Good to see you back at it, mate. Good to see you back at it. And yeah, thank you for everybody in the chat as well. Yeah, it's amazing how much you can just fill time. And when you're sitting talking about Rangers, mate, there's a lot happening just now. And it's very exciting. It is exciting. I'm looking forward to getting into it already. I'm starting to miss Rangers. You're getting to the weekends and knowing that Rangers aren't playing. And that's when I am envious that Scotia's in international football, because it would give you a wee bit of something to look forward to in football terms. But no, thank you, Alistair. Thank you, Scotia. And thank you, chat. We'll see you all next week. 100%. We'll be back next Friday, and hopefully we'll have something midweek as well.
Yep, 100%. Last but not least, Scotia, I think I'm seeing you tomorrow for the Scotland game, which I cannot wait for. I will show enthusiasm like I did in the Manscaped advert. If Scotland score tomorrow, I will show enthusiasm. So, yes,
no, you won't.
No,
you won't.
If Ryan Jack or John Stewart scores some sort of screamer, I'll enjoy it. But Big Haaland's playing for them, so that'll be interesting up front against a big Suter plays. I know Suter had an injury scare, but I think he's back in training, so we'll see what happens. But yes, Scotia, thanks for coming on, and I will see you tomorrow.
Cheers for that, Ali. Really enjoyed that this evening. I could have gone for about another hour or two.
Do you want to?
Speaking about that, because that was because I'm all right. I need the beer fridge is calling me.
I'm too warm.
Yeah, no, but really enjoyed that. Thanks, Ali, Scott, and cheers once again, listeners, and all the donators as well. And as well, Ali, before we go, I forgot to do this last week, but my score prediction for tomorrow's 2-1 Scotland. Yeah, McTominay winner.
Who's your first goal scorer? 2-1. Right, okay. Can't wait, Scotia. Can't wait.
Nah, quickly and say it as well, because I forgot to do it at the start. Congratulations to Richard Nelson, who won the giveaway on our Twitter, by the way, as well.
Yes.
And he should have got his top by now. So yeah, congratulations. And if you want, we're going to be running different things as well over the season on here and on the Twitter page. So make sure you follow our Twitter as well as following us on here. When could be in with a chance of winning some freebies.
Yep, lots of signed photos of Scotia. He'll spray his aftershave on it for you, or his Manscaped.
His dad's aftershave.
Yeah. No, we'll be doing that. But no, thanks for the lads for coming on. Thanks for everyone in the comments. And last, before we go, Rangers have sold out in their season tickets for the season coming, which is not surprised at all. So it is a complete sellout of season tickets for next season. So everyone's buzzing. So yes, we'll be back next week. Maybe during the week, but if not, we will definitely be back on Friday on our Club Live. But we have been Club at 22 Rangers podcast, and we will see you next week. Good night.